What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is freezing down here in Southwest Louisiana. I don't know about where you at, but where we at is freaking cold. It rarely gets into the 20s down here, and it's in the 20s. It's supposed to get down into the teens. Now, I can count on one finger how many times that I remember it getting down into the teens in Southwest Louisiana. We're supposed to actually get some snow, which the last time it snowed, I believe, was 2017. However, I went from, I don't remember, like I was a kid. I was like 2 years old. It snowed in like the mid 80s. I'm not going to give away my age right off the top. So we'll just say the mid 80s. I was 2 years old. It snowed, and it didn't snow again until like 2012 or 2013 or something like that. So we went a long ass time without any snow. And yeah, it's supposed to snow. We're supposed to get like 10, 6, 8 inches, something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but it's freaking cold in here. Cold in my shop. I don't have heat out here. It's just a little building I put together and created a studio for political purposes, if you will. But yes, all right, so we are under a new President of the United States. It's great. I love to see it. He finally got inaugurated this afternoon.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Yeah, just right before this, check this out, y'all. The final corruption of Joe Biden. Now, we speculated upon this a while back. And what is the final corruption of Joe Biden? Yeah, that sounds like a movie title, don't it? Yeah, well, he went ahead and with his preemptive pardons. This is just outright insane. This is a scathing article written by Jonathan Turley. So, it's sure he's a conservative or whatever. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. You guys know I love to do that. I always read left-wing news. So I'm just letting you know from right off the top that this is not a left-wing news source. So check this out, y'all. With only 15 minutes to go as president, Joe Biden snatched infamy from the jaws of obscurity. With record low polling and widely viewed as a failed president, Biden completed his one-man race to the bottom of ethics by issuing preemptive pardons to members of his own family. Oh, and a lot of other people as well. And we speculated on this a while back saying, why would you do this in the first place, right? Like we have checks and balances against going after people, like innocent people. You can't just go after political, you have to have some basis in reality, some crime to be able to go after people, right? Like they went ahead with Trump. They had to twist and modify the law in such a way to make them able to actually go after this guy, right? We know all these prosecutions of Donald Trump were outright garbage. Once you look into the details of everything, you're like, this is nuts. This is insane. This is just nonsense. So we're trying to figure out, right, so we have checks and balances on these things. We're trying to figure out what the hell is Joe Biden doing here? Why would he preemptively pardon some people? Because we have checks and balances. You just can't go after people. You can't just make up crimes to go after somebody. They have to actually have committed a crime in this country, right? We're not an authoritarian dictatorship. We're nothing like that, right? We're leaders of the free world. We will always be that. And I don't know, anybody that believes one man can change that, which you ask the left. It's insane, by the way. Y'all check out my next video. It's more insanity coming from the left. But let's keep going. Enough of my rambling on about this. Check this out, y'all. The pardons were timed to guarantee that the media would not focus on yet another unethical act by this president. He need not have worried. For 4 years, the media worked tirelessly to deny or deflect the corruption scandal surrounding the Biden family. The pardoning of James Biden, Sarah Biden, Valerie Biden Owens, John Owens, and Francis Biden brought an inescapable clarity to the corruption of what is known in Washington as Biden Inc. I have written about the Biden family's corruption for decades. Influence peddling has always been the favorite form of corruption in Washington, but this city has never seen the likes of the Biden family. Millions of dollars were secured from foreign sources and distributed to various Biden family members. And we covered all of this. Biden repeatedly lied about the influence peddling. He long denied knowing about his son's foreign clients or business. He denied ever meeting Hunter's clients. Later, photos and emails showed that Biden had clearly met these clients and knew about the business deals. He was fully aware that his family was cashing in on his name and various offices. Even Biden's claim about handling the Trump cases were recently contradicted. That's right, with this email that had come up from Biden to Merrick Garland saying you need to go after Trump. You need to get this man. Right, we covered all this. While long claiming that he left these cases to the Justice Department and took no position on the merits, the Washington Post recently reported that Biden was irate over the failure to prosecute Trump before the election. He also reportedly lashed out at Attorney General Merrick Garland and said he regretted his appointment in light of the failure to nail Trump. One of the most glaring lies was that he would never pardon his son. Few people believed him. Indeed, Hunter Biden's bizarre criminal defense made no sense unless he knew that he had a pocket pardon if all else failed. Yeah, that's right. We talked about that, as a matter of fact, right? Like, come on, you think he's going to not pardon his son? He keeps saying it. He's just lying, but that's what Joe Biden does. Joe Biden is a career politician. Lying comes second nature. As a matter of fact, it's like, shoot first, ask questions later. With politicians, it's lie first and then work it all out later. Right? Once he was forced out of the presidential race, Biden was freed up to sign a pardon for any and all crimes committed over a 10-year period by his son. He insisted that he really hadn't been lying. He claimed that no ordinary person would have been tried for his son's crimes, a manifestly untrue statement. He also emphasized that he had to take this step as a father of a son who was a hopeless addict and has now been clean for years. But hang on, we just found, what we found in the White House. They found a baggie of cocaine, and I wonder who that could come from. Do you think an 82-year-old man is going around tooting up coke? No, I don't think so. Don't think so at all. However, the latest family pardon shatters even that rationalization. These Bidens are not even charged with any crimes, but Biden wanted to give them cover from any possible prosecution for anything. It was the ultimate sign of contempt for the intelligence of the American public and the integrity of his office. And it was also flies right in the face of nobody is above the law. Right? Joe Biden said this repeatedly. Nobody's above the law. Even when he was talking about pardoning his son. Nobody's above the law. Blah, 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 blah. Right? We all know that was a despicable, disgusting lie at this point. Because we knew damn good and well he planned on pardoning his son. And we had ideas that he would pardon, his family, the January 6th committee. We didn't think about Dr. Fauci, but he's pardoned Dr. Fauci as well. It's insane what they're doing, right? That to me is an admittance of guilt right there. Now, we can talk about the constitutionality of preemptive pardons. You just can't do that because that's not a pardon, right? At this point, you can't pardon somebody before they get convicted of a crime. That's called immunity. And, not too many people get just blanket immunity. The President of the United States does, but we don't think his family does, and Congress. I don't think these people get immunity, and that's essentially what we're talking about here is immunity, because it's no longer a pardon. A preemptive pardon, really? That's just, you're trying to give somebody immunity from criminal prosecution. And yeah, I thought there was nobody above the law, Joe Biden. What are you doing over here? Like, this is the most corrupt president in American history at this point with these pardons, right? I know I always say he's the most corrupt president, or he's the worst president in recent memory, right? In recent history. Right, which Donald Trump is the exact opposite of this, and I know the left likes to cry foul about this, but, show me something, give me something, right? All of these prosecutions against Donald Trump have fallen by the wayside, right? And don't come up with the excuse, well, he's president now. No, that excuse isn't going to work. Just because he got elected, the Department of Justice is independent. They can hang on to these until he comes out of office. I don't care how old he's going to be. Yeah, I know that's what you thought right off the top. Well, he's going to be like 84 years old or something like that when he comes out of office. Who cares? Right? I don't care. They don't care. The law doesn't care. Nobody's above the law, I thought. Doesn't matter how old you are. Do you think if we have a serial killer that gets away with all his crimes and come to find out, we find out that this is the serial killer when he's 85 years old, do you think they're just going to say, oh, well, he's too old? No, they're going to bring that guy to justice. So that is not an excuse to say, oh, well, he's just too old at that point, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. You just can't make stuff up as you go and expect everybody to buy into your nonsense. Right? They can hold on to these criminal prosecutions. If you guys really believe that he committed those crimes, if you guys really believe he's such a threat to democracy, blah, 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 then I'm sorry, you wouldn't just drop these. You wouldn't just say, oh, well, he got elected as president. There's nothing we can do about it now due to policy of the Justice Department. Not law. Policy of the Justice Department to not prosecute a sitting president. I'm sorry, that's just policy. That is not law. I don't care how ideologically driven you are, right? Doesn't matter. If you truly believe he committed those crimes, you're going to go after this guy. You're going to hang on. You're going to do every single thing you can to hang on to those prosecutions and nail that SOB to the wall, right? Right? Obviously not. Jack Smith just quit. Let's keep going. Biden has long exercised situational ethics, and with his powers coming to an end, the situation demanded that he cash out before his credit ended. In granting these pardons, Biden was seeking to protect not just his family, but also himself. He was the object of the influence peddling and repeatedly lied to bury the scandal. I know I said that weird, right? Bury the scandal instead of bury the scandal, but it's spelled B-U-R-Y, not B-A-R-Y or B-E-R-Y. Sorry about that, y'all. This insulation of his family serves to move the threat farther from himself. Biden, however, may have been too clever by half this time. In the final moments of his presidency, he broke into the open and exposed not just himself, but his allies in the media. Reporters are now fully visible as willing dupes in one of the greatest corruption scandals in the history of this country. That is insane, and he is totally correct about this. In his pardon statement, Biden insisted that the issuance of these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement of any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. Of course, that is the very opposite of what most people will conclude, right? How can you conclude otherwise? Seriously, unless you're Trump deranged. How can you conclude otherwise? Even Trump deranged people, right? But you're going to get Cenk Uygur coming out. This is terrible. I can almost guarantee that. Cenk Uygur, he's going to come out and say this is ridiculous. This is the most corrupt guy in American history. It's nuts. Preemptive. You're trying to give immunity to your entire family, knowing there's prosecutions coming down the pipeline. Knowing this. This is the biggest scandal in American history, y'all. I ain't lying. This is nuts. Just outright nuts. Of course, that is the very opposite of what most people will conclude. More importantly, the pardons will not end the threat to his family. Figures such as James Biden have been accused of lying to Congress about the influence peddling operation. He can still be subpoenaed, and if he lies, he can be charged with a new crime. Indeed, after James Biden's pardons, it will be argued that he has less of a basis to claim the right to remain silent about any alleged crimes that have been during the period for which the pardon applies. He could argue that there is a danger of state charges, but that is less credible due to the running of statutes of limitations and other factors. The pardons, if anything, make such an investigation even more compelling for those who want answers to long-standing questions of corruption. Biden sealed his legacy with a finality that escapes most presidents. While his diminished mental capacity will remain an issue for historians, his long-standing lack of ethics was conclusively established with these pardons. It was Biden's final act of corruption. For a president who liked to call others lying dog-faced pony soldiers, Biden proved that. In the world of political corruption, the ponies are entirely optional. Jonathan Turley, yeah, okay, blah, 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 blah. We get it. We get it. This is nuts, y'all. This is plain insane nuts, just right off the top. Because you're going to pardon Dr. Fauci, really? Oh, yeah, because we're going after him over the gain of function stuff for lying to Congress once again. And, you got to love this. Like, I want to also speak a little bit about, since I got that article out of the way, the constitutionality of this, right? Can they actually go through with this pardon? Because I was talking with somebody a little bit earlier when I first heard this news break out that, laws, they only go as far as the people who are willing to enforce them, if you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to get at here is, if you have a law enforcement body who says, we don't care about these pardons, we're going to go after these people anyway. Bring these pardons to the Supreme Court and see what the Supreme Court has to say, the highest court in the land. We'll see if he even has the constitutional authority to issue a preemptive pardon. Because traditionally, as pardons go, you commit a crime, you get convicted of that crime, and then you can get pardoned after that. It doesn't work the other way around. You don't start from getting the pardon and then work backwards from that point, right? So the fact that this preemptive pardon, we're not even sure if this is legitimate, in other words. He may have said he's issuing these pardons to these people for whatever reason, right? But can he even do that? Does he have the authority to issue a preemptive pardon? Does anybody have the authority to essentially issue immunity to your family, of all people, to other members of the government, for crying out loud, to members of Congress? Like, this is just completely and totally without precedent whatsoever. Like, unprecedented just doesn't go far enough. You have to say completely and totally without precedent at all. This has never been done before, a preemptive pardon. Sure, there's been many pardons in the past, like Joe Biden, with his pardoning power, has pardoned many, many, many evil people. Just outright. Like, some of these people, you look into the backgrounds of some of these people that Joe Biden pardoned, and it's insane, right? It's just completely nuts. Like, why would you pardon this guy? Some random rapist guy over here, like some serial rapist? Why would you pardon a rapist? I know I'm saying it that way because, YouTube is what it is. So I'm going to say it that way, but I think you guys know what I mean with that. But, it's just the corruption of the Biden administration has been just completely and totally, utterly insane at this point. It has no bounds, it seems like, with these pardons. Like, his corruption just goes on. It's infinite. It's just an infinitely corrupt administration at this point. Now, it's not just Joe Biden, right? It's his entire administration, right? Having to twist the law around to go after your political opponent to keep him off the campaign trail. That's the absurd thing, right? The timing of this. As soon as Donald Trump announces he's going to run for president again, all these indictments start coming down the pipeline. Funny that is, right? Funny, funny, funny. And once again, going back to Trump, if they really believed that he was guilty of, subverting democracy and, he committed an insurrection, he tried to coup the government, you wouldn't just say, oh, well, he won and walk away. I'm sorry, that's just not how reality works. If you truly believe that and you give up, what does that say about your character, Jack Smith? I'm just saying. But I think that's all I got on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section. This is some of the most insanity. And just in the last few minutes of Joe Biden's administration, we get one of the most insane, corrupt acts the Biden administration can even attempt to pull off, right? And if this is even legitimate, right? I mean, he issued the pardon, so sure, that's legitimate, but I think this needs to be brought to the Supreme Court to see if he, study this and see if he has the constitutional authority to issue immunity to his family. That's absurd. Just outright absurd. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. That's all I got on this one. I'm going to try to warm myself up here a little bit. I got another video to do, so it'll be another 15, 20 minutes before I can go in the house and go try to warm up a little bit. It's freezing out here. It's pretty much like a freezer out here because it's in the 20s outside. So I'm cold. Y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.